All right, Thomas, you're a busy fellow. You have a lot of projects on the go constantly, post-political career. What's your latest endeavor?
Well, it became obvious that it's inevitable that in Alberta we will have a referendum on Alberta's future in Canada. Premier Danielle Smith has gone out of her way by passing Bill 54 to make it easier on those who are separatists, let's call them who they are, to have their referendum. And I have to tell you, as a Canadian, I'm of the opinion that if there is to be a fundamental question to be asked about the future of Canada, because this is about all of Canada, it's not just about Alberta, then that question should be framed and asked and managed by Canadians, by loyal Canadians who have their allegiance to Canada and not to any other cause. So what I decided to do is to take that task on and frame the question and make sure that it is supported by facts and not disinformation, and ask the question in a positive way. Do you want to continue to stay in Canada? As if this really was a question. And do you want to reject any idea of separatism or joining the United States? So what I have done, to answer your question more briefly, is I have filed an application with Elections Alberta to have a petition in Alberta on that question. And if we get enough signatures, which I have no doubt in my mind that we will have a referendum in this province, but not about separating, about staying in Canada.
And why won't we have one about separating?
Well, because the Act is very clear that there can be only one question on a subject matter, and there cannot be similar or opposite questions asked on the same subject matter. And I filed this application, and it is my understanding that my application was filed first, so that will be the application that has to be considered.
And what is the importance of being first?
Well, the importance is that the Act says that the Elections Commissioner will review applications in the order that they were filed. And so if the first application filed meets the legal requirements of initiating a citizens' initiative, then that will be the application that will be processed and will proceed. Only in the case that the first application is rejected for some technical reasons, then they would go to the second application. But I'm very confident, considering the strength of our team, legal experts, that our application will be meritorious.
And what do you think this will mean for the people that you're opposing, the people who would like to put out a referendum, a separation question?
Well, what it really does, it negates their entire campaign, because they were shopping around this pro-separatism question and trying to gather support for it. Well, that no longer will be the question. They were asking people to vote yes to their question. Well, now vote yes will mean to stay in Canada and continuing to be proud Canadian. But ultimately, I hope it achieves two things. One, I hope that it puts this question to rest, because they won't be able to ask that question again in 5 years, and if they try to, I will be there again to make sure it doesn't happen. But also, it will minimize the economic damage to Alberta and to Canada. You know what? We have to be reminded what happened to Quebec when they were toying with the idea of separatism. And I don't question their emotions and their anger, but the fact is that the sheer discussion of separation creates a lack of predictability, instability, and businesses run away from instability. You know, we saw businesses en masse moving from Quebec to Ontario. For goodness sakes, Bank of Montreal has its headquarters in Ontario, in Toronto right now, because of that. We saw what happened in UK with Brexit. Their economy just plummeted. And we also see in Spain, in the Basque region, what's happening. So if we really want to attract business to Alberta, if we want to have a strong economy across Canada and be competitive with countries outside, we can't be having these discussions on an ongoing basis about separatism. So my approach is, you want to talk about separation? Bring it on. Let's have a referendum, but it will be framed on facts, not anger. And it will be a positive question, because I am convinced that 95% of Albertans are proud Canadians. You know, my family immigrated to Canada as refugees from Poland. We came to Canada. We didn't come to first Nova Scotia and then to Alberta. We came to Canada. And I know that Canadians who live in Alberta are Canadians first and are getting tired of this conversation.
In this ongoing communications battle that this most likely is, do you feel that one side is winning the communications struggle right now? Do you feel that the separatists are dominating the conversation?
You know, it's the case of being angry and loud. So often, you know, the barking is louder than the size of the dog. But we haven't even started yet. And I have to tell you, my personal email and my personal messages on social media are at a point where I can't respond to them anymore. And the question is from all across Alberta, and we're talking about veterans and mayors and police officers and teachers saying, how can I help and where can I sign the petition? So once our application is certified by Elections Alberta, we will be launching a campaign, and that's when we will be officially speaking about it, but even unofficially now, it is being embraced by Canadians.
And you believe this is checkmate, at least for now?
Well, I believe so, because I'm not asking Premier Smith to pass Bill 54 for me and make it easier on me with lower number of signatures and more time to gather signatures. I said no, I'll file my application before Bill 54 is proclaimed, because I have confidence that there are enough Albertans that will sign this petition. As a matter of fact, I don't want to meet the minimum number of signatures. I would like to quadruple that. And my sense of, you know, being involved in a lot of political campaigns and having a sense of whether you're winning or losing, I've been on both sides, this is a winning campaign. This is beyond political divisions, this is beyond political affiliations, religious or ethnic or other breakdowns. At the end of the day, in order for us to have all those debates, we have to be Canadians. And it is actually very heartwarming to see how proud Canadians are of being Canadian, particularly in this world that we live in right now.
All right, we'll be watching this closely. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.